And before we get into the whole of the evening, I want to invite one of those students up here to talk about why they're on the caravan. So please welcome Anya.
Okay guys, my name is Anya. I'm representing Robert F. Hall. And yesterday we had the privilege of hearing from, and they shared with us their injustice and their story. And all of us were incredibly moved by that. And obviously, we're just really passionate about this, and it is very important. Like, you know, personally, I never had any idea that Canada was involved in such things until I heard these stories. And we're very passionate about this. We wouldn't be here if we didn't strongly have fun going out there and running around in these jumpsuits and trying to raise awareness. And people like seeing it, and we enjoy doing it. So thank you for sharing your stories, and you guys are a blessing for even being alive today and sharing these stories. And we want to encourage you to keep doing it, and we'll support you as much as we can as students. So that's all.
And Abdullah was able to make it here today and speak at Rockaway Mennonite, and he is here tonight. And the story he is about to tell you is almost hard to believe that it actually happened, but it did happen. He's a living testament to the fact that it happened. And the whole point of torture is to take away your humanness. It's to take away your ability to say, I am alive, there's something here. They didn't do that to Abdullah because he's still here and he's still speaking up for those who cannot. Please welcome our friend Abdullah Almaki.
Thank you, Matthew. I'll start off. I want to give a little bit, put things in context. I want to give some points about background. I want to talk about torture. Some of you will be bored with this. You heard me yesterday. But what I'll say today, I'll be talking from my own personal experience. But you can, if you look at the other stories, if you look at Ahmed's stories, at Moyed's stories, at the other people, at so they changed their mandate. The usual mandate for police is prosecution. They changed it from prosecution to prevention, and that is something very important. I think it's very important for all of us Canadians to understand what that prevention side of the mandate. It's a fancy word with a lot of things I think hidden behind it, but basically it meant, looks like from their activities and from their own memos, and I'll have a slide about this, that it is to go. So my experience, my family and I started being harassed. My wife, my kids, myself, were followed everywhere. Cameras followed in front of the house. The intrusion on our privacy became unbearable, and we took a break. We wanted to take a break. We couldn't take it anymore, and we left to Malaysia, where my in-laws are. In Malaysia, I was detained for a couple of hours. I was asked questions, and when I protested the treatment, they said, well, please don't blame us. It's your government who asked us to do this. She was over 90 years old, and to interrogate Canadian citizens. And I didn't know that Ahmed was there before me. In any case, I got there. They took everything I had. They blindfolded me, put me in a room. And I got, in almost no time, I think in less than 15 minutes, I got a slap across my face, came from nowhere. I still remember that slap very well. So cheek on the floor, they stepped on my head so I don't move, on my back as well. They stepped and they kicked me all around. And with an electric cable, they started whipping me, mainly on the soles of my feet, but also all over my body. This lasted for about, it was Friday, May 3rd, 2002. It ended the next morning. They told me after one interrogator a few months later, he said on that night, that first session lasted for about 7 to 8 hours and received over 1,000 lashes that night. When they finished that day, I don't remember at the end what happened really, just because I fainted and the pain was so intense that, just don't remember anything, and I think this is a blessing that person faints and doesn't feel anything after. They sent me to a room down, to a cell downstairs, underground, and I'll get to describe that cell later, but the cell is smaller than the stable, and dark, no light. However, when they shut the door of that cell, I was really, my hope was they would not open it again, because I didn't want to see them. In a few hours, they called me back up. That day, they told me, the next day, they said, well, they're not, it's a normal car tire, which, anyone driving, he has 4 of them. If you're in Europe, you might have 3 of them. But, it's a normal car tire, and they told me to squeeze in it. Actually, it's even worse because it's so much ruined, and that gives you an idea how much they torture people, because some of these tires, they had a number of them on that floor, and some of them are so beaten up that the steel lining inside is showing. They told me how to squeeze into it, and it was on the floor, and then they flipped me 90 degrees, and it was in this shape. So it was, very easy for them to whip me with the electric cable. Mainly, it was on the soles of my feet, my head, my arms, and my genitals. This lasted for a whole morning, and early in the afternoon, they took the tire out, but I wasn't able to move, just paralyzed almost from the waist down. After that, I spent 482 days between interrogation and torture sessions. The interrogation happens on the first floor, main floor, and I was kept underground in a cell. This is my cell. This is the floor downstairs. This is the section where I was kept. This is the solitary confinement section in that jail. There is a gate here, so if someone comes, they wouldn't know that there are people, human beings living here. Most of these 19 cells were people detained there on behalf of some Western government. All of them due to something, one or another. Anyway, all of them under the banner of war and terror. Some delivered directly by Americans to the Syrians, some indirectly. Number 2 was Mahir, I was number 3. Ahmed, a few months before me, I think 4 months before me, he was number 5. Moyed Nuruddin, he came, and I think he was number 4, but these are commutal cells. Number 13 was a German. On 4, it came a German. Anyway, it was mostly people whom they are the ghost detainees. No one's supposed to know they existed, and they were there to be interrogated and tortured regularly. On average, when I left there, people were there for more than a year. Some people spent there more than 3 years in that cell. Now, the cell measures, and I think it's important to imagine how these cells are. The cell measured exactly my arm length and 4 fingers wide. So this is exactly how wide it is. My estimate is about 198 centimeters high and about 185 centimeters deep, dark. It had 3 military blankets on the floor, which my estimate is that they are from the First World War, because the way they were ruined and how slim and dirty and filthy they were. Full of lice. Cockroaches all over, rats squeeze under the door and rooms in the cell, cats. There's a ventilation hole with bars on top, and cats urinate from top on me, and the same thing happened to the others. So it was 24/7 psychological and mental torture, psychological and physical torture. Physical just because of the physics of the cell, the size of the cell. Going to the washroom, the most basic thing a human being needs to do, was a challenge. I was allowed initially only 2 minutes morning, 2 minutes in the afternoon, 2 minutes in the evening to go to the washroom. If I don't come out of the washroom in 2 minutes, they squeeze the steel door and squeeze me inside. The washroom was about the size of this table, 90 centimeters by 90 centimeters measured. The washroom, of course, was dark as well. Once the door is shut, it's totally dark. There is no light there. The same with the cells. The worst thing, however, in that cell was hearing footsteps, and every time I heard footsteps, my heart sank because I was afraid they'll pull me back for more interrogation and torture. It was extremely difficult